What's up, everybody? You're watching Truth with Tara. I'm your host, Tara Simon, and today I have arguably one of the most impactful voices of Christian music today. Her breakout song, In Jesus' Name, has become something of a global anthem of prayer and healing, followed by multiple #1 hits and awards. She's now entering a new season where her powerful album, Honest Conversation, and nationwide tour is coming up, and it's bringing her message of faith and hope to the masses on stage. I'm talking about Katy Nichole, y'all. Katy, thank you so much for being on today.
Aw, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, you're so welcome. And listen, I actually, in doing some research of you, realized that you and I have a mutual friend in Candace Cameron Bure, and you were on her
Yes.
podcast.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yes, I love her so much. She's
I do
one of my
too.
favorite people.
Me
Gosh.
too. We love
Yeah.
you, Candace.
How can you not? Like, she's
I
just so
know.
amazing.
I
She's
know,
so
I
sweet.
know. And I love that
Yeah.
you were able to do that live with her. I was her vocal coach for a while and taught her how to
What?
sing. I dared her as an actress to learn how to sing. We did a whole series on it. And I got to go out there too and spend some time. And she's just so magnetic, such a hard worker, so fun,
Yeah.
and just loves Jesus so much, which is a
Yeah.
great combo.
I think I remember seeing clips of this and
Oh,
just being
really?
like so impressed by how hard she was working.
Yes.
You know, like, because I think that singing is a taught, like, thing. Like, I think people have gifts. I truly
Yeah,
do believe that. But I
totally.
also think that it's a learned skill, like, for sure.
Girl,
So I think that's
preach.
so cool.
Yeah, and she really gave a lot of people hope in that
Yeah,
series of teaching her how to sing. Like, because she's like, I am not a singer. And at the end of
right.
it, she's still like, I feel like I'm not a singer's singer, but I really do know that, like, incrementally and arguably I got better. And she
Yeah.
was filming, I think, 2 movies in the middle of us doing that series. So she had like very little time to even practice. So people
Wow.
don't know that. Like, we don't want to take away, but she worked so hard in the
No.
midst of all that stuff. So I
Right.
actually hope to get my hands on her again sometime and
That's
do
so
another
cool.
level up. But you
Yeah.
actually were kind of born in a musical family. You led, or was it like you led worship in church? I know it kind of came early
Yeah.
for you, right?
Yeah, I started in church choir, so
Okay.
I was singing. Gosh, I think the first time I was on stage was probably when I was about 2 or 3. Like, I just really loved singing and I loved to learn songs. So
Mm-hmm.
I would be like running around the house singing anything that I could kind of like pick up. Like 3, I was singing like VBS songs word for word, which is like, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's a sign that I was kind of born into singing a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like so grateful that it's something that I get to do now because
Yeah.
like I spent my whole life just loving singing and I would sing covers and I would sing songs I made up and I would do the thing where you make up dances and you sing and you put on a show and
Yes.
like I
That's
loved
awesome.
performing. I
Yeah.
feel like it was something that I like the Lord just really placed on my heart from an early age. And
Mm-hmm.
so I am beyond grateful that I get to do it for a living.
Okay, so first of all, before I get to that, who's the little furry friend on your lap? Because he's popping his head up and so cute.
I know he was trying to bite my zipper, and I was like, you can't do that because you will pull it down.
And it's
Okay,
not
sir?
that kind of a podcast, sir.
It's not. So you can't do that. He's like, who is that? Do you
Hi.
see
What's
her? Do
his
you
name?
see her? Buddy.
Buddy, you're so cute. My goodness. Aw.
He's like a little mop right now because he needs a
Yeah,
haircut.
I know
But,
mine too. He needs
I
groom
feel
so
like it's
bad.
cute though when they're like puppies. Like you kind of want them to be a little raggedy because that's their
Scruffy.
puppy hair, you know?
Yes, yes, it
Like,
is. It's
honey,
true. I
his
don't
first
get it.
haircut.
Oh, would it be? Oh,
Yeah,
cute.
I
Well, okay,
know.
so getting back to what you said about the whole born with it and stuff. So this is going like deep end, like Taylor Welsh, real quick. But like,
Yeah,
okay, I've been reading lately about like, the books. The scrolls of heaven, like courts of heaven, that kind of stuff. I don't know if you're
yeah,
familiar, but like the guy that wrote it, I think his name's Robert Henderson. He was on
yeah.
Taylor Welsh's podcast recently, and he said something so fascinating to me that I can't get out of my head. And it goes to what you said. He said, well, if you don't know what's in your books, look at your body. Look at your giftings, like your natural abilities. Like, clearly you're not going to be a supermodel if you're 5 foot, or you're not going to be an
Right.
NBA player if you're 5'6" as a guy. There are clear
Yeah,
markers within even your physical body. Like, if God wrote in your book a purpose, then
mm,
he's also going to equip your body and
yeah.
your giftings to be bent toward that purpose. And like
Sure.
you, when I was 3, I sang at a platform in my church. It wasn't even a solo, and
Yeah.
I it was revealed to me like in my books, like this is what I designed you to do, like
Yeah.
flat out,
Yeah.
unequivocally. And when you're telling me that, I'm like, yeah, I fully feel that. And I think that's why a lot of people who get into music, they
Yeah.
say like, I knew usually at a young age that I was going
Yes.
to do that. I've noticed this pattern, especially with people of faith, and I do
Mhm.
truly believe that after like learning that from Robert Henderson, that like the body does have a mark of the calling too, and the
Yeah.
voice is part of the body, and so that's just so fascinating. And
Yeah.
it's truly written in your book, you know, and
Yeah.
there is this predestination to it. And so I wanna
Yeah.
ask you, like, as you're growing up and as you are doing this in the house, like,
Yeah.
was it something that you had to fight yourself for? Was it something that your parents saw and nurtured? Because a lot of people watching this,
Yeah.
they really love music. They love to sing. My audience is they're music and
Yeah.
vocal enthusiasts. But for those that are
Yeah.
watching that are like, yeah, that was me, but I'm
Yeah.
not doing what you're doing right now,
Mm.
maybe kind of delineate possibly what the difference could have been.
I do think that it was something that was nurtured from a very early age.
Hmm.
I was in vocal lessons like 10, I think
Okay.
was when I started,
Yeah.
because I don't think my parents really knew what to do with the
Hmm.
fact that I love to sing. Like they just kind of, they knew that I loved to watch Disney Channel and I wanted to be Hannah Montana when I grew up. Like that's about it. And
Yeah.
then as time went on, like I was doing everything in my power to find places to sing. And I would just go to open mics or I would do vocal lessons. I've done a vast amount of vocal lessons. I've done multiple
Interesting.
different types of training and
Cool.
I did musical theater. Like I just poured myself into any like type of performing that I could. I started leading worship in church when I was about 18. So
Okay.
when I started doing that was when it kind of started being something that was geared towards Christian music, and I didn't really know exactly where that was going to end up, but I really do feel like God opened the doors for me. I don't feel
Mm.
like I did anything on my own strength. I know that sounds pretty like Christianese, but I'm like, that's actually what happened.
Hmm.
I was planning on going into the medical field because I just essentially said like I don't think that this is going to be my career, and I'm okay with that. Like
Mm.
when God started opening doors, I started working really hard when he would open them.
Ooh, that's
And I
good.
think that hard work is just the way that, dreams come true. I
Hmm.
really believe that God opens the door, you walk through it, and you get to choose what you do next.
Ooh,
I think that we get to take those steps forward, and the Lord guides us. And maybe somebody's listening who doesn't believe in Jesus, and so from a different perspective, I would say just in general, hard work is going to get you where you want to go. If you
yeah.
are not dedicated and passionate about what you want to do, then nothing's going to happen. I promise. Like I would say that if I didn't care about this far more than all the other people around me, nothing would happen.
Mm.
Because that's just kind of how it goes. And I think a lot of people think that, oh, once you're signed to a record label and like once you start going on tours and things like that, everything happens. No. You have to put all of the pieces together when you get those opportunities.
Yeah.
So if you don't put the pieces together, those opportunities, they just kind of make you fall. Like they don't
Hmm.
really do anything for you. You're not going to rise unless you are actually working hard to take those steps up. I don't believe that if someone goes into this thinking that it's going to be easy, that they're going to get very far.
Everything you said is so good, and I so firmly and cellularly believe it, and have experienced it and preach that to artists. It feels so good to
Yeah.
have an artist say it though, because I'm the vocal coach, right? So like I'm the
Right.
mom,
Yeah.
right? No one listens to mom.
Yeah.
But to have a cool kid say it means a lot. So thank you for that. I feel very
Um,
seen. But also, like, do you
yeah.
ever feel frustrated? Are you misunderstood by sometimes family, friends, even fans, peers, by this success that you're having, and they don't see like the hard work, and they just see the come up? So have you gotten that yet, or are you like pretty well represented in your circle? How do you feel about it?
I think it's kind of a mix of things. I do believe that I have really supportive people in my life. And
Hmm.
so I've been very supported by people who truly believe in me, and like they do in fact see how hard I'm working, and I'm so thankful for those people. And those singing people are the ones who keep me grounded and allow me to, not let things like this get to my head, because the truth is that it could all be gone tomorrow.
Hmm.
And so I definitely have had some people in my life though that were like, it was more of like a doubt. Like they were like,
Mm,
oh, you've got these really big dreams, but it's pretty slim like
yeah.
chances that it's gonna happen for you, and like I don't think that those people necessarily were like being vicious about it. I don't think
Right.
they had ill intentions, but I do think that when things actually did start to happen, and they started to happen pretty quickly, a lot of those people kind of disappeared from my life,
Mm,
which is ironic because
mm.
you're like, I told you so, girl. I knew God could do it.
Won't he
But
do it though?
right, but I literally was just like, I had this like blind faith going into it of like,
Mm,
no, because the thing is that God started this in me, and what He starts, He's going to
he
be faithful to
finishes.
complete.
Yes, yes.
So if He started this, why would He just? I mean, if He ended it right now, tomorrow, I think I'd still pick myself up, walk away, and go to the next thing that God is calling me to.
So
That is
good.
just the truth of the matter, because I do believe that that's just the kind of person that I've kind of always been. I'm like, whatever I do, I'm doing it with my whole heart, and like,
Mm,
so I'm grateful that God would allow me to do what I do now, because this is
hmm.
exactly what I've always wanted to do. I have a
Yeah,
dog eating my necklace
it's
now.
great.
Goodness gracious. Not
Buddy.
distracting at all. Um, but I just think that the people that didn't believe that it was going to happen for me, those people probably weren't really meant to walk alongside me in this anyways. But I
Yeah, right.
also think that they doubt it because they think that it's too big. They're like, that
Yes.
dream, too big. And
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person who has ever dreamed a small dream in my
Oof.
life. I
Oh,
dream very big, and I know that that could, lead to a lot of disappointment. But thus far, I think dreaming big has just allowed me to live and enjoy. Like I
yeah.
get to think about all the things that could be, instead of being like, well, that can't happen. And
Mm,
actually, that's just not true. Like anything can happen.
yes.
Honestly, like, and if you believe that it could happen, watch God show up, and
Yeah.
it might not be exactly how you imagine it in your mind, but I
Right.
do believe that things can happen, and happen in a way that's going to lead you to feeling fulfilled.
Mm,
So,
100%. Yeah, I think a lot
yeah.
of people, and they're trained and taught this by parents, and it's out of love, but it's a scarcity fear mentality to train your
Mhm.
kids up to be very hyper realistic. Like we're not trying to, head in the
Yes.
clouds life here, but also like what about the mentality of instead of why me, why not me? I think
Right.
Mark Cuban said that, and I loved that. Like in business too,
Hmm.
like why not
Yeah.
versus well, why would it work?
Right.
And as a Christian, I think that's an open-handed faith, and like I'm allowed to dream big. That's my inheritance. That's what
Yeah.
God calls me to do because He's huge, and so
Yeah.
why put Him in a box? But also, what you said, whatever I do, I'm doing with my whole heart as unto Him, and whatever He blesses, like I'm not idolizing
Yeah.
one dream so much that if that thing doesn't happen, I'm sour about it.
Yeah.
And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people who have a dream of being in the music and entertainment industry, dare I
Yeah.
say, can tend to, because you have to be so self promoting to do
Yeah.
anything. It's easy, it's a very
It's
fine
yeah.
line to cross over into idolizing that path, that
Yeah.
career. And it
Right.
really takes a lot of prayer, a lot of discernment, a lot of seeking
Yeah.
out wisdom, great accountability, support to not
Yeah.
ride over that dental floss thin line.
Yeah, and I also think that something that has been detrimental to my mental health is just thinking about how, if I don't have these certain numbers,
Mm.
I'm unsuccessful, which
Ooh.
in reality just isn't the truth. But
Hmm.
I do feel like that has really put this strange mentality into a brain that's like ministry minded. And then
Mm.
I'm like, there's this tension that hurts a little bit, because I'm like,
Mm.
well, I don't really care. Like at the root of it all, I don't really care. I don't need followers in order to feel fulfilled in my life.
Yes.
But someone out there says, well, if you don't have this and this, and your follower count isn't this, well, then you aren't this. And so,
Yes.
why am I allowing everyone to tell me what I am, when in reality, I know that I've been called to do this because God already chose me to
Yeah.
do this? It shouldn't be based on that, but sometimes it is, because it's just like the nature of it.
Well, right.
And
It's
I think that's so
business.
dumb.
It's hard.
Yes.
It's the
It's
business of
so, yeah,
music. not the music business. Really, people call it
Right.
backwards. And, the powers that be, their label heads and whatever pub company, they're fronting money and they need to recoup that, get a return on
Yes.
their investment, and that equals numbers. And even
Yeah.
though it's talking about Jesus, it's still bottom line is dollars and cents to them in
Yeah.
some way. And that is
Yeah.
tough because there is a tension there.
Yeah.
Any great ministry also has to have money behind it to be effective. And so
Yeah.
it's writing that balance too of like, okay, like, Lord, these are your funds too, and these are
Yeah.
your numbers. Like, what do you want to do? And I think it's just, again, that
Yeah.
open-handedness of, yes, I want my numbers to be good so that I can continue to do this, because I do have to
Yes.
have a certain level of performance to continue to be signed and continue to be pushed and distributed, right? But like, also, God, like, have your way and breathe on whatever you want to breathe on,
Yeah.
whether it's through me or
Yeah.
someone else. And I fully feel that. I fully
Yeah.
understand and
Yeah.
relate to that. But I think
Yeah.
your heart is in the right place, and it's really beautiful. And I want to touch on something you said about the mental health thing, because you actually wrote In Jesus' Name from a place of like
Yeah.
a history of fighting with some mental health issues, but also like physical ailments. Can you
Yeah.
talk to our audience about that and how that came about?
Yeah, so I've had two back surgeries. This was 2015 and 2018, so it's been a few years now
Yeah,
since I've had those back surgeries. But kind of in the middle of that, I was going through really severe depression.
sure.
Depression started for me at 15 years old.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I was so young, and
Mm,
no 15-year-old should be, hit with that. But,
right.
and it was something I actually hadn't experienced before. So it was really unusual that I was experiencing something, so heavy on my mind, because I was just
Mm,
such a like joyful kid. And, I was always dramatic and like sassy, but that's just like the performer in me.
yes, yes.
But like outside of that, I was just really happy, and I wanted to live, a joyful life. And
Yeah.
so when depression hit, it really took a toll on my life very quickly. And so I started to spiral so fast, and there was kind of a warning from surgeons that, like, okay, post-surgical depression is a real thing, like it happens, anesthesia
Mm,
can mess with your mind a little bit. I was under
wow.
for 8 hours. So that's why, like if you're under for 2 hours, you might have depression for a few weeks. If you're under for 8 hours, the likelihood of you dealing with it for a little bit longer is higher.
Why were you under for 8 hours? What happened to your back?
Well, I have scoliosis. I was born with scoliosis.
Okay, okay.
So the first surgery was spinal fusion. And so they
Oh,
put metal rods and screws into my back.
wow.
Um, and they said that like everything should go back to normal after a year, and like I would be better and like back to what I do. But after a year went by, I was like, something isn't right. Like something's wrong with my body. I mean, granted, like my whole body was kind of shifted, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
feel weird.
Right.
But this was like, I knew in my gut, like something's wrong.
Wow.
And even that young, like I just knew something was wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm in bed a lot of days because I'm in so much pain, but
Mm,
also I'm severely depressed. And so there's, this mix of two things that are terrible. Like they're
mm.
just plaguing my life.
Wow.
And so when I was 17 years old, I got to such a bad place in my depression that I wasn't sure if I wanted to be alive anymore. And I basically made an ultimatum with God, because in the year 2015, the Lord just kind of placed it heavily on my heart that something was important about the year 2018. And in my mind, like I'm just a kid. I don't know what this means, and I don't have any sort of like, I'm not really a charismatic type Christian, so
Mm-hmm.
like prophesying isn't really something that I necessarily like have ever. I grew up in a Baptist church, so like
Right.
I
It's
didn't
not, you're not experienced with
experience.
it. Sure.
Yeah, I was just not really used to anything like that. So, but this was just, it was very prominent that like something was important about the year 2018. And so when
Mm.
I was 17 and I'm on the bathroom floor and I'm crying and I'm like, Lord, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I just said to God, okay, well, if something doesn't happen in the year 2018, like I'm not going to keep doing this. Like I'm going to be gone tomorrow. And
Wow.
so don't make ultimatums with God. Like I don't recommend that.
No.
But I would say that my ultimatum somehow led me to the right place. December 12th, 2018, I had my second back surgery. So they went in and basically they reversed what they did the first surgery. And what ended up kind of being revealed was that my body had rejected the metal and it was not responding properly to what they
Oh,
had put into my back. And this was 3 years of my life. Like
wow.
of course I'm angry, I'm in
Yeah.
pain, I'm frustrated, like I can't go on that way. Who
Oh,
could? Like that's just
no.
not. And back pain is no joke.
You can't
Like it's
move. You're
just
done.
like that's your body. That's the equilibrium of your
Yeah.
body is your back.
Holds you
So
up. Yeah.
I was so frustrated, and so then when I came out of this surgery and I came back to life essentially because my body was like, thank goodness, no more of this terrible thing. Whatever you put in here, take it out. And so when it was taken out, I did start feeling a lot better. I do have chronic illness, and so like there are still things I deal with to this day, but I will say my life is exponentially better because I had that surgery. And
Mm.
it's pretty rare that that even happens. Most people go through that surgery and it is very much so like
Yeah.
successful. They
Yeah.
don't seem to, have those issues. And
Yeah.
so like I was a very small percentage of people that needed to have that surgery reversed. And so that definitely did shape the music that I write today.
I love how it was December 12th too, by the way. Like at the
Yeah.
end, the very
Yeah.
end of 20, isn't that so
Very end.
God? Like never
Yes.
when you want it, always on time, but like 11th
Right.
hour type of
You're like,
stuff.
this is weird, but
Cute.
thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Cute. We see you. We see you. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you think all of that was used to
Mm,
write this powerful song? Like, do you think that that's something that the Lord kind of not had you go through for that purpose, but use? Like, nothing's wasted? Is that sort of
right.
the mentality you take from it now looking back?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when I was writing that song, I was so inspired by the power of prayer, and like I do think about the amount of, prayer that I was I was praying a lot during that time,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were praying for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so and I just think about how God will meet you in those places, and like you said, like it's not exactly how we want it always, but God always shows up at the right time in the right moment. So
Mm-hmm.
I was really believing for that. And also, at the time that I wrote it, it was 2021, and the world was still in a little bit of a weird place after COVID kind
Mm-hmm.
of got a little bit better, but not completely.
Right.
And so people were still in this state of like fear and just panic. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like the world was a very strange place at the time.
Yeah.
And so I remember talking to the other writers that I was writing with the day we kind of started writing the song, and they were also in that place of like, this is such a weird thing. I think we wore masks that day. Like, I don't think
Wow.
I was going into a writer's room and like not wearing a mask because it was important to, me and everyone else that like, you know, we were being cautious about COVID and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I was also like, but it's something that is so like it makes us all so fearful, like
Yes.
of like what's, gonna happen. And like and so many people had lost loved ones to COVID and stuff like that. And it was such a weird time that I wanted kind of an anthem, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
to remind people that there's still power in prayer and that God
Yes.
is still like within all of this, even though
Mm-hmm.
it kind of feels like where are you, God? Like why is the world like this right now? Like
Yes.
confusing and a lot of unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to pray that over people, and it was a mixture of my story, of other people's stories, and just in general the state of the world at the time.
Mm. So good. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was well received, clearly. And I mean, I've jammed out to it in my car listening to it. And I just think there is a lot of anointing on it. There's a lot
Yeah.
of power to it, and it is very anthemic. So I think what you intended for it to do definitely came to
Yeah.
fruition for sure. Which is
Hmm.
what every singer-songwriter wants out of their song, right? Like I want other
Yes.
people to be
Yes.
breathing this song out. This isn't really for me. And that's so rewarding, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It was like it was honestly it left me in awe. I was just so
Mm,
amazed by what God can do through a song, and
yeah.
I still
Yeah.
hear stories,
And
So
that's probably like when I was interviewing Brandon with his, and I mentioned gratitude and how that song, I went through a really terrible time of sickness shortly after
mm,
COVID, non-related to COVID, but his song
yeah.
Gratitude is one of the songs that actually like got me through fighting for my life. And I had the
Wow.
honor of telling him that when he joined my
Yeah.
podcast, and he
Mm,
was like, it never gets old. Like that's always the
yes.
thing, right? And so it's
Yeah.
so life-giving when you write something and you get those stories. I think it's a sad thing if an artist ever gets so big to where those singular emails from people no longer matter or they're no longer read.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll never really get to a place of that. I think when someone shares their heart and shares their story like that, it really is, like something that they're doing that's very vulnerable, and they don't have to share that with you. So
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly, and probably never, I will never get to a place of that. I think it doesn't matter how big you are, like those are still real people and real stories. So
Yes.
if someone's taking that for granted, then maybe they shouldn't be in this
Yeah,
field.
they've lost their way, I feel, and
Yeah.
or you've gotten too busy in the
Yeah.
doing, right? So, how does Honest Conversations, your latest, kind of
Yeah.
build on your earlier work, like in Jesus' Name, and what's new or different about it to you?
I think I took a big shift as an artist, and mostly because I wrote a song called When I Fall. That was the first song that was released from this record, and that song was the state of mind that I was in at the time, and I was really struggling with where I stood with God. I didn't really understand a lot of the things that were happening in the world, which, as many of us feel, I had a lot of doubts and a lot of questions, and I was so afraid to bring that to God too. I don't know what it was in my brain that told me, oh no, you can't bring your anger, you can't bring your frustration or sadness or anything like that. You can only bring praise to the Lord. That's it.
Interesting.
And I believed that lie. I believed that lie so fully for so long, and it was stopping my relationship with God from being like the full
Yeah,
relationship that it could be.
right, because it's not honest.
So there was one day where I was sitting in my room and I was crying, and I was literally sitting at my piano and I was weeping, and I was saying to the Lord, I was like, I'm so tired of trying to be okay, and I'm tired of pretending I'm fine when I just feel like all I'm doing is going out and putting on a fake face for people and pretending to do things that just like aren't me. Like, this isn't who I am, and I don't want to be somebody that I'm not. And I was also on the other side, I was very much in a place of feeling so weak because my body was the worst that it had been in a long time. This was literally the first year of me doing all of this. Like, I,
Wow.
in Jesus' name, had released, like, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, your life got so much better after that. Like, everything is changed and fixed and healed and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm literally the same person I was before this, and I was sad then, and I'm still sad now.
Wow.
So,
Wow. That's
and
real.
that's just because, like, if you don't find contentment where you're at, like, you legit can't be content. The grass is not greener on the other side. You have to water the grass or else the grass just dies. And so I
Yes.
I don't want my grass to die. Like,
Don't let your grass die, people.
like, it's just, it was where I was at was because I was like, well, I'm so angry that like my life didn't get better even after I thought like my life is going to get so much better. If all this happens, like
Right.
everything's going to be so good.
Yes.
It
My
was
dreams have
not.
come true. That's the thing about people getting what they've dreamed of and what they've hoped and prayed for. Is it
Yeah.
like that's why a lot of people that finally reach the thing end up on drugs and like and in such a
I
way
know.
because they're like, wait, I thought this was gonna make me happy. Jesus is the only thing that's going to make you happy. Anybody that's listening, that's the only
Absolutely.
thing. He's the only thing that
Yeah.
satisfies. Everything else is a moving goalpost. And when you reach it,
Yeah.
it's like the carrot's another 10 miles in front of you when you just thought that it's a mirage. And so I love that you're so honest about that and how, the biggest pinnacle of success to date for you
Yeah.
internally was like one of the most tumultuous emotional times.
Yeah, I think I was still breaking because there were parts of me that hadn't been healed before. And so I was still very much in healing processes that no one really knew about. And a lot of my life then isn't really something I will share now. There are parts of my story that I really can't talk about. My story goes so much deeper than what most people even know. Like, there's more to the mental health stuff than really what I can say. Because there's other people involved in my story that I would love to respect and honor. So,
Yeah.
was in a place in my life where I really hadn't figured out kind of what was going on inside of my head and in my body. And so I started going to see some doctors, and some of them holistic, some of them just general medicine. And so I was able to kind of figure out over the course of the next few months after I had written that song, some things that were essentially like I was on some new medications that were helping me, and I was doing some treatments that were helping me, and actually part of my healing that I would say a lot of those places are scarring over. Like, they're not as
It's
open
good.
wound as they were back then. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
But I also think that like the last 2 years of my life have been some of the most difficult, and I don't think that a lot of people grasp the idea of like an artist being a human. For some
Yeah.
reason there's just like this weird like, well, you're famous, so like you don't deal
So
with
don't
problems.
complain. Yeah, right, exactly.
But really, like, you are going through things in your life, and I also am going through things in my life. And I
Yes.
don't owe you an explanation for every little thing that goes on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so I may be struggling, and you may never know.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I think I would rather get on stage and still perform to my fullest,
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm struggling.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that was, another part of this writing process, and kind of my identity crisis that I was going through,
Mm.
was me being like, well, I have to go on stage and be a fake person when I'm actually falling apart behind the scenes. But
Mm.
in reality, God was still using me in those moments, and so I have to be like, well, it wasn't fake. It was just
Mm-hmm.
a different part of what God could use in me.
Correct.
And that's
Exactly.
crazy to think about, because you're like, well, no, but I didn't feel real.
Mm.
No, God did, though.
Yeah,
God
yeah.
still used you. and
Yeah.
and people out there who were struggling the same way that I was that night met Jesus in a different way.
Right. Yeah.
So all that I can say is praise God even in my pain. And I know that that
Yes.
is so difficult, because I deal with that so constantly. And so
Hmm.
I'm not saying that as if it's something that's so easy, like praise God and there's purpose in the pain. No, it's really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggle with so many different things, and I'm not going to tell you about every single one of them, but I can say that I'm just like you.
Mm.
I can say that I'm a human being who has feelings, who feels pain, feels emotions, every single one of them. I've been mad, I've been sad, I all of the things, I
Mm-hmm.
felt it,
Yeah.
because I'm a person.
Right.
And so the process of writing this album for me was me saying to people, I'm a human being, and it's actually okay to be that way. Because
Yeah.
being a Christian isn't all fluffy and rainbows and butterflies. It's actually really difficult, because
Mm-hmm.
when you're chasing after Jesus, the devil's trying just as hard to get you back to where you were.
That's right.
Like, if you weren't chasing after Jesus, the devil wouldn't have anything to go after.
100%. Yeah.
Legitimately.
Right. 100%.
So,
Yeah. And singing through pain and putting on a full show, it doesn't have to be an either or. It can be an
yeah.
and also. You
Mhm.
know, I am in pain and also I'm here to give you guys a great show.
Yeah.
And that's also very authentic. But I love that you are
Yeah.
now kind of fashioning your songs in this new album, Honest Conversations, to lyrically maybe match what some of the emotions might be
Yeah.
at some given shows. And that's kind of nice to have that outlet as well. So how are you preparing? Because you're going to go on tour, and that's super
Yeah.
exciting. How are you
Yeah.
preparing for that? And are you super excited? Tell me what's going through your mind.
There's a lot of things kind of being prepped behind the scenes.
Hmm.
I'm actually going to have an entirely new band, and I actually haven't said this out loud yet, so I'm excited to like speak this on this podcast.
Yay.
But I'm forming an entirely female band, so I will be an all-girl team pretty much.
My gosh, it's
Um,
so cool.
I literally am so excited. It's something that I've dreamed about, and for some reason, this industry is super male dominated. And
No idea
so
why that is. No idea.
this world is kind of male dominated.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to do something that I felt could be really empowering for women, and not just, fans that are girls, but also for the women that are in my inner circle. I
Yeah.
just really believe in empowering women and being champions of other women. And so I have been surrounded by men for pretty much all of my time doing this.
Wow.
And nothing is wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I have felt to myself, I'm like, it's weird, because I mostly spend time with dudes and none with women. Like, it's just, and like,
Yeah.
again, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's been a beautiful journey, and I've spent time with amazing, godly men. So, like,
Hmm.
it's been awesome.
Yeah.
But it's about time that we have full girl bands,
Yeah.
because, like, there are so many women who are like, well, can I play drums? Because I only ever see a man doing
Right.
that.
Right. They never even think
No.
it. Yeah.
I know. So I'm excited about that. I'm basically preparing an entirely new show. And so a lot of people probably are like, where did Katy go? Because I didn't tour this fall.
Hmm.
And The reason why is because I'm prepping. I'm trying to get ready for what 2026 has to offer. And I really want this show to be the best that it can be. And I don't want to do it prematurely and, not have everything in order before we get there. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are happening, a lot of rehearsals and just getting ready to play the best show I've ever played.
So exciting. I really hope that you make it down to my area in Florida so that I can come and see you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 100%. We'll spend the day together.
Okay. Are you ready for the
I
famous
think so.
lightning round of questions?
Maybe.
You can't possibly be ready, but you're going to have to be. You have no choice. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
Katy, what's a genre of music you're afraid to sing in?
Rap.
Good one. Me too. Okay. A person you'd most want to do a duet with, dead or alive?
Dolly Parton.
Wow, you are so quick. Dang.
I don't know. You prepared me for it.
Okay, okay.
I knew.
Okay. All right, would you rather be in a recording studio singing or on a stage?
Stage.
Interesting. If you could instantly master one random instrument, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, probably the banjo.
Okay, I think that might be a first. Nice. I can see
Well,
it though.
that or the fiddle. I think they're both like so fun.
Yes, and it's very
So
Nashville of
fun.
you.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would work. Like, I could just see you now at Tootsie's, just through the window. Okay, this is kind of a hard one. If your life were a song title, what would it be?
The first thing that pops into my head is a mess.
A mess?
Yeah.
A
I don't know
Mess
why.
by Katy Nichole.
Maybe that's just the state of mind I'm in right now. It's like, oh, my life is real messy right now. But like,
I kind of love it, and I kind of think maybe you
Yeah.
need to write a song now that's entitled The Mess.
or hot mess. 'Cause
Hot Mess. I feel like that's a different genre. maybe
maybe I should dabble in some different things. Like,
Maybe,
try
yeah.
something new.
maybe like crossover pop Hot Mess Christian. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hot Mess
I've
is
been
cute.
thinking about, dabbling in that world. So
Okay, good.
not as an artist, but like as a writer. So I'll write it for someone else.
I like it. That's a good plan. That's a good plan. All right. Well, the inspo
Under my
came from here.
ghost name or like alias.
Which is what now?
Nichole. Obviously.
That's great. You are so quick. You're so quick. I love it. This is the songwriter in you coming out for sure. Like for
Okay,
sure.
good. I'm
Yeah.
glad it's not just like the no filter. She needs to stop talking.
No, please. We don't like filters on Truth with Tara. That's the whole point of this podcast
Okay.
in general. But yeah, that's
Great.
great. Okay.
She's
Oh,
like, I'll never have you again. But this is fun.
That's not true. No, that's not true. We're doing the beach day for sure. I'm getting your number
Yeah.
after this.
Amen,
Okay.
sister.
If you had to describe your voice in 3 words only, what would it be? What would
3
they be?
words. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Gritty.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
Like it's got
Yeah.
a bright tone, I think.
Yeah,
But it's
it
like
does.
gritty at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
And loud.
Okay, I'm going to change that to powerful because I was
Okay.
feeling powerful. Okay, I need that to be the third one. It was just resounding in my mind.
Great.
Gritty, sweet, and powerful. Honestly, I feel like that's accurate. I feel like that's really accurate. You do
Okay,
have
I'll
like
take
this like soprano bell ring because you do have a higher speaking voice and it's very clear and light, but there is this like there's a power belt to it that I
Wow.
just love so much.
I'm a mezzo soprano, so I like got the gift of knowing some low things too.
Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Believe in yourself.
Love it.
I think I spent a lot of my childhood being really like self-conscious about what I was doing, and like I needed to believe in myself more to be like confident in who I was rather than just trying to be everyone else. Because like I wouldn't say that I didn't have confidence as a kid, because sometimes I had way too much, but like believing in myself was a whole different thing. Like
That's great. That's good.
knowing that I was capable as like the person that I am, and not just because like, oh, you'd be like, well, I can sing like Adele.
Right. Yeah, I love that you demarcated the difference because belief in oneself truly like that intrinsic innate I know no matter what versus like an outward confidence are two
Yeah.
totally different things.
Yeah.
How
and
old are you?
Yeah. 25.
You are so wise for a 25-year-old
Oh,
little youngster. I just said youngster. I'm so old. Oh my
wait,
gosh.
how old are you?
I'm not
Is that allowed?
telling.
Is that allowed? Okay, fair.
Fine. I'm 41.
Really? Because I
Yes.
don't believe you.
I could be your illegitimate mother, Katie.
I
It's
wouldn't have
sad.
guessed that.
Well,
I would
thanks.
have
That's
guessed that you're
sweet.
in your 30s, and I would
Bless
have said
you.
mid 30s.
Bless. Yeah, you're so
I'm
wise for
Sabrina Carpenter's age,
25.
so
So there's that. There's
she's
always that.
obviously young and hip.
Right. We love young and hip. But honestly, I also feel like we're so off on a tangent here, but I feel like in this digital age,
Yeah.
like there are people releasing great music who are making awesome careers and not even needing to tour or do whatever. And so like I also don't think that there's actually an expiration date anymore like there was. I think maybe for
I don't
live
think so.
performance, like doing 8 shows a week on Broadway, just because it's so physically taxing and things, there for a female
Yeah.
especially, there might be a bit more of an expiration date on age. But even then, like I know
Yeah.
some people that are doing great work on Broadway in their 50s and 60s. And so I just think
Heck
that's sort of like
yeah.
a really unkind, and I've always felt this, not because I'm 41 right now, okay? But I've always felt like the industry was so stupid and limiting when it came to like ageism in general. Like remember when Susan Boyle became famous on AGT, and it was halfway
Yeah.
because she was this older, like not necessarily
Yeah.
commercially attractive woman, and I was like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, yes, she's amazing, but like, why does that add to it? Like why
It
wouldn't someone
shouldn't.
just, yeah, I mean, it is the way it is, but I just always felt like a little cringe about that. So anyway, we're
I
gonna
think
move
you're
on
young
now.
as you feel.
Yeah, and I feel, we'll say mid-30s. I'm
You know
tired.
what?
I'm a single mom.
Actually, you're as young as you want to be because I also don't necessarily feel 25 in my body. Like my
Mm,
back hurts, my
hmm.
bones hurt. I have arthritis.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have really bad
dang.
arthritis, and I'm like, because a lot of times, like, older people will be like, well, you're still, like, young and healthy and all the things, and I'm like, well, you better tell that to my doctor, because he disagrees.
Oh my gosh.
The x-rays
Bless
say
you.
different.
The x-ray state, right. 2 back surgeries. My gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so
okay.
you've got 2 more. Are you ready for these?
Yes.
All right. This one's fun.
Okay.
If you could have any useless superpower, what would you choose?
I want to be invisible because I, like, want to go anywhere I can. Like, I just have always wanted to just sneak around, you
Oh,
know?
sneaky. Okay, got it.
Does that sound bad? I know. I know.
What's the one thing that you want to be remembered for?
Oh my gosh, this is the one I'm actually gonna have to sit here and think about.
And it's the one where if you were invisible, you'd like want to hear people saying about you, tying it
Oh,
back. You see what I did
I
there?
mean, I know that this might be cheese, but I mean it. I want to be remembered for the type of person that I am. I really do want people to remember me as, like, I don't want them to remember my talent. And I don't want them to remember that, oh, she was really good at singing and songwriting. I
Mm,
want them to remember that she was a really kind person who always took really good care of people that were around her.
mm,
And I want people to say about me that I was like Jesus and I wasn't just saying things about Jesus, but I was actually living my life that way. Because in reality, like, if I leave this world with anything else, then it was all pretty worthless.
so good.
So
Katie, I feel like I just made a new best friend in under an hour.
me too. I feel the same.
You're so
We're gonna go to
precious.
Florida.
Yep, we're gonna do the beach date for sure. You're so precious. You're so worthy of everything that God's breathed on in your life. And
Thank
I just
you.
want to thank you so much for being on today. Everybody listening and watching, tuning in, make sure if she's coming to a city near you that you grab some tickets, support her, and also be blessed by that amazing concert of all females, which is so amazing. And I'm so grateful that you broke that news today on the show.
Yes.
That's super cool. I love that little edge that you put on it. It's very unexpected and awesome. And check out her new album, Honest Conversations. And if it changed your life, which I'm sure it will, make sure that you reach out and let her know that, because as artists, it's easy to get lost in the sauce. And I know after talking to Katy as well as we are never too big and too busy to hear those amazing stories that touched your life. So thank you for being proactive and doing that as well. And Katy, is there anything else that you want to say to our audience?
I always say this at the end of every show. I say, love God, love people, and I say, God bless you. So that's
Oh,
it.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, you guys heard it from Katy. I echo those sentiments. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.